Guys, we are live. I'm Jeff here with eBay Addicts, and today I got a brand new guest for you guys. I have Popeyes Postcards. How are you doing today?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. Real quickly, in case people don't know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and tell them what it is that you do.
Okay. Hey, my name's John. I sell. Is that me squeaking there? I sell under Popeyes Postcards on eBay and whatnot. And I've been a reseller for 24 years. Live in Maryland. I'm retired. I was a probation officer for 26 years, and that let me retire at a young age of 51. And now I just sell stuff on eBay full time.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you said you were a probation officer, and then they gave you, I guess they offered you like an early retirement package to retire early. Was
Yeah,
it like
pretty
one of
much.
them government jobs where did you get a pension and benefits and all that when you retired?
Yep, I worked 6 years with different state agencies, and then I transitioned over to federal agency. And after 20 years of wearing a badge and a gun, they're like, "If you want to retire, retire." And I got nice pension for the rest of my life and all that stuff. Very rare. So if you're just starting a career, try to get into the federal system, and it'll hopefully work out for you, and you can retire at a pretty young age.
Hey, that sounds good. You got out of there in one piece and lived to tell about it.
Well,
So, yeah.
physically, anyway, the job I did kind of maybe messed with my head a little bit, but
All
yeah,
right, cool.
yeah.
Cool. So you're a full-time reseller. If you guys don't know, I got a chance to go check out your eBay store. And you have
Oh,
like 29,000 items listed in your eBay store. I got like
yeah,
7,500. By next
yeah,
week, my goal is to get to 8,000. But when I tell people that I want to grow my store to 10,000, 20,000 items, you know how it is. People kind of look at you like you got three heads. They look at you
yeah.
like you're a space alien or something. So tell everybody kind of like how you got started in this reselling because you said you've been doing it for a long time. So tell people your story of kind of how you got started.
Sure. Yeah, it's been, I joined eBay January 1998. And the reason I started, I mean, that was back in the old Wild West days of eBay, no pictures, no auction, or no, it was all auctions. And I was in the Navy for a couple years and ended up getting a nickname Popeye. So I started collecting Popeye stuff. I had a whole one bedroom in my two-bedroom apartment was just full of Popeye stuff. My then girlfriend, now wife, moved in with me, and I had to grow up. And I sold my Popeye collection on eBay, and it sold for so much more money than I spent on it that I started looking around. I was like, "What else can I sell?" And I started going to auctions, and I started off selling, knickknacks, glass, pottery. I just go
Yeah.
to buy the box lots. And one day I happened across a box full of ephemera paper, and there was this little stack of postcards in there, and I listed them, and every one of them sold for really good money. And it took up that much space and really easy to ship. And I was like, why am I taking an hour to pack a very fragile vase that I sold for $3 when I can throw a postcard in a little mailer and be done with it in 2 seconds and have very little opportunity for that to get smashed and me to do a refund. And so that was, been selling postcards for 24 years, and I just gained a knowledge of selling postcards over
Yeah.
24 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know, it's like sometimes people you get this tunnel vision and you're at a yard sale or a thrift store or something, and you're like, oh, I could buy that VCR for $5 and sell it for $50. And
Yep.
then you don't think about it until you get home and you realize, oh, I have to test it to make sure it works. I have to
Yeah.
take all these photographs. I have to answer questions. I have to, go through all this hassle of shipping. Like you sell a lot of postcards. I sell a lot of media items like this
Okay.
that are small, lightweight, and all they got to
Yep.
do is scan the little barcode and then hit sell similar, take a picture front and back, and it's listed. So it's similar to what you do, but the difference is I have a barcode. So when I walk by an item, I can pull out my scanner
Right.
on eBay and it'll instantly look it up and tell me, hey, this is a $15, $20 item that you can pick up for 50 cents.
Right.
Or it tells you, like, hey, this item is not worth your time listing and keep it moving. With you, when you're trying to sell postcards, you don't really have like a little UPC barcode that you can
Yeah.
scan. A lot of it has to go through your head as far as like memory, like what are hot items that you sell.
Yep.
Because I was watching your videos, and you might pick up a postcard that might sell for $2, and you might have one that's $100. Now, if
Right.
I walk by, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a $2 one and a $100 one. I mean, you would because you've done it for a long time. But when I'm walking by, I never had considered it that when people are buying, selling postcards, it's almost like to have a collector's memorabilia, almost like someone
Mhm.
that's looking for, a Ken Griffey or a LeBron James rookie card. There's people that collect these little postcards and they're looking for a particular niche and a particular model. And
Yep.
with your business model, I mean, you're picking stuff up for pennies on the dollar. And even if you paid, let's say you paid 5 cents or 2 pennies or 10
Mhm.
cents for this postcard and you sold it for 10, 15, $20, you got a lot of margin there. And
Yep.
it does not hard for you to take a picture front and back, post it, have it listed on eBay. You put your price on there. And
Yep.
then shipping wise, it's not a big thing. Like when I ship out a media item, I'm throwing it in a 6x9 padded envelope, putting a
Yep.
shipping label on it, throw in the mailbox, and I'm through with it. With you, explain a little bit more about how your business model works, because I think a lot of people, including me, I've never sold postcards. I've sold
Mhm.
a ton of stuff on eBay, but I've never sold postcards. So tell people how you can find these items, and is there a certain type of vintage or limited edition or rare or collectible ones that we need to be on lookout for?
Yeah, sure. Well, finding postcards, they're everywhere. Antique malls, flea markets, online auctions. I think you can, grandma's attic. You can find them almost anywhere. I don't have any. I don't think I have any samples here, but it's interesting scenes. Is usually what I collect or what I
Go
buy.
go ahead. I'm going to put you on full screen so they can see
Okay.
you. But go
Like
ahead.
this, like this is just an interesting subject matter. I think this is exaggerated. Yeah, this is called an exaggeration. It is, I think those are squash or something like that. But it's just an interesting scene. Uh, Places that don't exist anymore. Like this. These are just some that I just have sitting here. Like this is a view in Cuba, and I probably guarantee there's no that could be like a multi-million billion dollar hotel now sitting on that section of beach. So it's just
Yeah.
I go and it's whatever catches my eye that I think is interesting. There are cards called real photo postcards, and like I said, I don't have any just right at my fingertips, but it's pretty much a photograph, and it could be one of a kind. And I find those anytime I find a real photo postcard for less than $1, I don't care what it is, I'm going to buy it. Just again, this is ships sell really well. Uh, these are called large letter greetings. Those sell very well, and it's just like I said, I don't think I have any. Oh, here's a real photo. This is not my most favorite subject. I'm not a big fan of the Niagara Falls just because as a reseller, they don't sell very well for me. But it's a photograph. This was developed of photography, under the uh, chemicals and stuff like that. If this was a street view of some small town in Pennsylvania from 100 years ago, that could be $100. And if I find it for $1, I'm buying it. Um,
Right. It's a no brainer.
it's a no-brainer. And after if you, I mean, it's taken me a lot of time to build that knowledge, and I don't know everything at all. I can I look at the postcard sellers. There's just like a educational process. When you first start out, you may have just graduated high school, and then you move into college, community college, and then college, and master's degree, doctorate. And those doctorates are those people who write the books on postcards. And I think I may have getting ready to graduate with my master's degree. I haven't written any books, but I
Well,
put out a lot of content, and I know a lot about postcards, and I do pass that knowledge on my YouTube channel. I have like a
oh,
23-part series of pretty much everything you ever wanted to know about postcards. Where to buy them, what you should pay, what you should be looking for, what you don't look for and you should avoid. And it's a whole series. It's probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours of listening to me talk about postcards, which I could do all day.
okay, cool. Now we're live, so I want to say hello to a few people in the
Okay.
chat. Nina J is here. Says, "Hey Jeff and everyone." Want to say hey to CK's Postcards. Wanted to say hey to LKO Graphics. Keith is here. Says, "Hello everyone." Wanted to say hello to Bluegrass Thrifts as I'm over breakables. Yeah, I'm totally feel you when you're going through this process of taking photographs, posting the items, boxing it up and shipping it, and the buyer gets it and says, "Hey, this item is broken and I want a refund." So I've
Right.
definitely been there once or twice, and like I said, you just get when you're a newer reseller, you just think in your brain profit is profit. Like I said, you may see this $5 VCR that you can flip for $50, but not
Right.
realizing all the work that's involved. Whereas I could take my same $5, go to the pawn shop and buy, let's say, 10 DVDs for 50 cents a piece, and if I
Mhm.
can sell them for at least $10 a piece, I could turn my $5 into $100
Right.
with very little work, as opposed to someone that spent $5 on a VCR to sell it for $50 in
Right.
all the testing and work that they have to go through. So I wanted to say hello to and Treen Heartline. I hope I pronounced your name because
Andrea.
I've
Yeah.
watched every video. I've learned so much from Pie Pie. Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of Pie Pie for a couple of weeks now to get him on
Yeah.
the channel.
Actually, I think it's
John is
been
here, says, "Hey Jeff and Pie Pie, thanks for coming on. If you guys have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat." So this is one of my most important questions I got to ask you. What is your average buy cost for a postcard, and what is your ASP? What is your average sell price for some of these items? Because I don't.
yeah.
If I say something, I'm not mean this in an offensive
Oh,
way,
no,
but
no.
is it worth your time to post an item on eBay that sells for $1.99? Like,
Yes.
because you have to take out your cost of goods, your eBay fees,
Yeah.
packing, pulling the items, shipping, and a lot of these $5, $10, $15, $20 items add up. And
Yep.
you can. I've seen your YouTube channel where you've had $700, $800 days selling postcards. So I'm sure when you add up the $2, $5, $7.99, $10.99 items, they add up into that. So can you
It
talk
does
about
add
that
up.
real quickly?
Yeah, sure. I always try to buy in bulk. Um, and when I buy in bulk, I try to keep it under like 20, 25 cent per card average. But I recently bought over 1 million aviation airplane postcards, and the cost average of that is under a penny.
It was like 2 pennies or something by the time you paid for shipping and
Yeah,
freight and all that.
yeah, it's maybe a penny, but it's not much at all. And once I, you know, pay back or recoup that hundred or that I think I paid 10,000, and then going out and getting it and all that was another like 4 or 5 thousand. So once I get back, $15,000, which I'm a couple thousand short of right now, everything else is pure profit. And yeah, so yeah, I have. Well, here, just real quick, like I went to an auction last August and I bought probably about 50,000 postcards for about $2,000. I don't know what that breaks down to, but this is all the same postcard here. Um, and this was in that stack. And I just have to list this one time, and I have 200 of the exact same postcard. If one sells, and I think I have these listed for $1.99. It's really neat. It's advertising. It's Dr. Pepper advertising. So if one of these sells every month at $1.99, yeah, after shipping and everything like that, I may only make $1 on it, but it's $1, and these won't go bad, and these will sit here for years. I have stuff
I'm
up
with,
in my
I'm with
inventory.
you. Yeah. So you said you spent $2,000 to buy 50,000 items.
Yeah.
So that breaks down to like 4 cents a piece. So your cost of goods is very minimal. And I do the same thing where I have a guy that I'm getting ready to buy, a big wholesale lot of 500 media items, CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS tapes, audiobooks, that stuff that's new in the shrink wrap, where I buy cost is 60 cents. So if
Right.
I can get at least $10 a piece times 500 items, you could do the math where you're turning your $300 investment into $5,000, and by the time you subtract your cost of goods and your eBay fees, you're still going to be left over about $4,000 profit, and you're doing something similar with that. And like you
Yeah.
said, with their postcards, they don't weigh a lot, they don't take up a lot of space, they're not going to
Yeah.
expire, right?
This right here is my whole active inventory. This is 29,000 cards right here on this one shelf
Right.
right beside me. That's 29,000 cards. Now I do have back behind me, that's the airplane postcards right there, and that's about
Uh-huh.
60 or 70,000
So,
back
so what
there
would
that
you,
I have
what
listed.
would you, if you had to guesstimate, or if you could look on your eBay app, it would tell you, what would you say is your average sell price? Because I know it's hard to, because you have some that's $2 and you have some that's
Yeah.
$100. So what would
Um,
you say is your average sell price? Like around 10, 15, 20 bucks? Like if you had to guess.
it varies. Right now it's about 10, maybe $11 each. Let me get my camera fixed here. But remember, I paid a penny, a nickel for these cards. So, and I haven't listed anything for about 2 months now. And that's the benefit of having such a big store is I can just let everything coast. And I'm only bringing in like 100, maybe 120 a day, but I'm doing absolutely zero right now for 2 months. And it's just this residual income. Uh, I've
Okay.
been I've been spending all my time on Whatnot auctions where I have 1.5 million postcards in my house, and I'm bulking those out to other resellers on Whatnot, and I'm making a killing over there. I did almost $19,000 in 1 month on Whatnot, so I'm just killing it over there.
Wow. Okay. So I was going to ask you a question. I lost my train of thought. So you said you did $19,000 in 1 month. Tell us a little bit about Whatnot, how the app works, and how to get set up on it, and why people should. Because I haven't done it before. So tell
Yeah.
people why they should want to sign up for the Whatnot app.
Yeah, I've only been on it for about 1 month. You can sign up as a buyer anytime, and it's pretty much just like it's if you've ever been to a live auction, it's it's a live auction on the internet pretty much. And what's great about it is if I'm a postcard seller going on at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, selling postcards, and there's a dozen or 2 dozen other people selling comics and sports cards and knickknacks and all that stuff all over the platform. So if you get bored watching me sell postcards, you can jump over and watch someone and buy sports cards or comic books. But it's Whatnot. You can just download it. There's an app. You can do it on the internet, just whatnot.com. Uh, Free to join. If you want to resell on that, yeah, there's an application process. But I
Yeah.
know there's people in the chat there. Connie, Connie's been a great customer. Thank you very much, Connie. I see you're in that. CK Postcards, Connie. Um, but you just go in, and what I do is I do auctions every Tuesday and Saturday, and then I do a small noon auction on Thursdays. And I just have lots of postcards. Like here's 25 large letter greeting postcards. I start them at $1, and they bid just like a live in-person auction. Those the buyers bid that up to whatever they think is a good value. I'm happy because these are cards that I will never get around to listing on eBay, and they're just sitting in my basement or out in my garage or somewhere in the house. Um, I've already recouped my money from them from whenever I buy a huge lot of postcards, I'll immediately go through, cherry pick out what I think I'm going to get my money back on the quickest and the most money, and I'll immediately list those. And hopefully, maybe I'll get my 100, $200 back or whatever I spent. I'll get that back within a week or two of listing. And then everything else is profit. And like I said, it sits here in my boxes for years. But then there's stuff that once I go through that initial cherry pick, I put the box on the shelf and I may forget about it, or I may not look in that box again because I have so much. I may
Yeah.
not look in that box for 5 years. Um,
Wow.
and that's what some of the stuff I've been selling on Whatnot. I just pull random stuff out of some boxes,
Yeah.
and I'm going through and it's like, oh crap. This is one I should have kept out. This is the one I should have cherry picked, but I just passed over, and I'm passing that on to other people. But right
Yeah.
now, not I think it's probably there's good deals because it's kind of just getting started, and new sellers are coming on, and they're selling stuff cheap to build an audience. I've been lucky enough that I had a small YouTube channel, but they're dedicated to postcards, and
Yeah.
they all knew I had 1.5 million postcards, and I was looking to dump, well, not dump, that's so bad. Well, I was looking to sell off my extras. I was going to do YouTube auctions, but I wanted something, an app or something that took care of all the back end stuff. They collect all the payment, they keep track of what the next
What
bid is going to be.
what fee does Whatnot take out of your sales?
It's about, I think Whatnot itself takes 8%, and then their payment whatever payment they use, that takes 2.9%. And then just like PayPal with that extra 30 cents per transaction. So I kind of figured it's like 12, about 12% or something like that.
Okay, now I have an
When
eBay
you add it
question
all.
I want to ask you. I want
Sure.
to because I'm kind of an eBay nerd, so I
Yeah.
got an eBay question I got been dying to ask you.
Sure.
Now, when you list postcards on your main eBay store,
Mhm.
do you get charged insertion fees? Because if you guys don't know, like I have the basic store that's like $21 a month, and if you
Right.
sell items that fall in the select categories, then you pay zero insertion fees. So what
Yep.
happens is at the end of the 30 days, if that item doesn't sell, it'll auto relist, and you're paying zero fees because it happens to fall on those selected categories. So
Yep.
is
Auto.
postcards considered a collectible?
It is collectibles. Yep. So I used to pay what, 300 a month for the premium store or whatever that is.
The
And then they
anchor
start,
store?
yeah, yeah. Oh, not, is that the bigger one? Whatever
Yeah, but
there's,
there's the basic one, the premium, and then there's like the big anchor store, and then there's enterprise. So
oh yeah,
go
I
ahead.
was the anchor store, 300 a month anchor store for, I don't know, 50, 60,000 listings. And then during the pandemic, they gave us what, an extra 45, 50,000 listings. So I dropped down to that. It's what, 59, $60 a month.
Yeah.
And I get 50 or 60, 70,000 listings. And yeah, so right now I'm only paying that store fee, and all my postcards
That's
when they relist,
beautiful.
I get
That's
zero. Yeah,
that's
it
beautiful because
saves me.
I have the same similar business model because of all the items. If you guys don't know, I'll try to drop a link after the show down below. But if you guys don't know, if you have items that fall in these select categories, like he is saying, that if you have items like CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, VHS tapes, video games, audiobooks, and even postcards, if it falls in these selected categories, then you pay zero fees. If you had a huge store like our guest has, and he has 29,000 items, if you had to pay 5 or 10 cents a listing every month after month after month for that item to roll over, that adds up real quickly. But since they switched over to managed payments, if your items fall in those select categories, when you're getting an item, like you said, for a quarter, 50 cents, 10 cents, and then you're paying zero fees, you can afford to let that item sit so you can kind of get what you want for it. If you don't, if your item isn't in that category, it's almost like every month you're getting penalized on eBay for having that item
Yeah.
listed on your eBay store, and you're kind of like limited on how many items you can list. So, but yeah, I'm with you. Right now, I have the basic store because I can get up to 10,000 free listings in the select
Mhm.
categories. But I'm hoping by this summer to bump up to the premium store so I can get 50,000 listings in those select categories. Anyways, I'm going to say hello real quick to some people in the chat. Wanted
Sure.
to say hey to the Southern Geeks is here. We have a question from my buddy Harry Humstone is here. He says, "What is your favorite postcard to find?"
Definitely real photos, street view, real photos. So picture the hometown you grew up. You have, storefronts and neon signs or whatever. Now picture that 100 years ago with dirt streets and horse and buggies and stuff like that. And maybe that church or that store or that bank is now a pizza parlor. Maybe it burnt down 50 years ago, but here it is in a postcard. So I
Yeah,
love finding real photo postcards of towns, and really just almost any. There's artist signed postcards, Halloween postcards, nice Christmas Santas. Um, yeah, and especially if I can find something that someone else missed, and I pay I once paid like $1 for a postcard of Houston, and I sold it for like 120 bucks, and it was just sitting in someone's dollar box at a postcard show, and I happened upon it and looked at it. I was like, oh, I'll pay $1. It was a real photo. I'll pay $1 for this and take a chance because it's $1,
yeah,
And here
yeah.
I
Worst case scenario, you're out of buck. Worst case scenario. So,
yeah.
hey, I wanted to say hello real quick to CK's postcards in the chat. Bluegrass Thrift says John takes time to curate his lots. I think that helps a lot with his sales. And John says, hey, would you say Whatnot is almost like a YouTube home shopping network? So, kind of
Yeah.
explain and elaborate a little bit more because, most people, no matter how many hours overtime they work at their job, they're not going to make $19,000 in a month. And you just did that on Whatnot, not
Yeah.
counting whatever sales you made on your two eBay stores and your antique booth. So talk to us a
Yeah.
little bit more about how Whatnot works for you.
Yeah, it's almost like QVC. And curated lots. What I do is I'll pull out like I said, 25 large letter greetings. And when I start my live auction, I'll be like on Whatnot. I was like, okay, first auction is going to be 25 of these large letter greetings, and every one of those cards, and I'll just flip through them one by one so everybody can see exactly what they're getting. And then I'll start the auction. So here's like 3 large letter greetings. Here's one from Virginia. There's Catskill or the Catskill Mountains, and then Maine. And I'll go through all 25 cards, and I'm like, we're going to start the auction. And I do like a 30-second auction, and then people bid. I think opening bids are $1, and after so much, it goes up to 2, and then 5, and then whatever it goes up to. But yeah, it's just like QVC. They show you the item, and then they open it up and say, okay, call now and buy it. And it has you have to there has to be a little bit, I think, of entertainment value. Excuse me. I think I do a good job of trying to entertain the people. I like to talk. I'm a talker, and I love talking about postcards. And while I'm talking about postcards, I like to drop a little knowledge because I like to teach people about postcards. And I'll be like, hey, this one is, if you look this up, comp this one, or go to this website, you can find out more about this particular artist who did this postcard, or look up this. There's a database it has every postcard that this one manufacturer put out, and you can go there and find out the value, find out more about it. Or if it's a Disney postcard or Disneyland postcard, go to this website and they have a checklist, and you can check out, what, if this is a rare card, a common card, or whatever. So yeah, it's QVC, but it's been pretty awesome. I've been busting my ass putting together these lots. I've been actually, what I haven't been doing on eBay, I've been doing for Whatnot.
Right.
So I just let the eBay just let it ride for a while. Whatnot is that shiny new object right now for my ADD, and I'm feeding
Right.
that. But I've been doing a lot of work putting together the lots, and I'm
Yeah.
actually going to be pulling out I vend at live postcard shows, in-person postcard shows, and when those aren't going on, all my show stock is now in my antique booth mall. Well, I'm going to be pulling that out of the antique booth mall, and it's all going to be going on Whatnot. And if these are dollar or $2 cards, if I can get 50, 60 cents on a dollar for these postcards, I'm happy with that, because I have $50,000 worth of postcards or more sitting in my antique booth mall, and I'm only making, I don't know, $100 a week or something like that. I could put those on Whatnot, sell them for 50 cents on the dollar. There's still enough meat on the bones, I think, for the resellers who've been buying my lots, who then can now flip that on eBay. I sell in bulk pretty much. I think 20 over the Thursday shows, I do 15 postcards in a lot, and that's just so I can move the auctions along
Yeah.
quicker. But over the weekend, on Saturdays, I've been doing postcards by the pound, and I just grab a pound of postcards and make sure there's at least 100 postcards in there, and it's just whatever I pull out of the box. And so I flip through them as people see them, and I'm like, oh crap, I missed this one when I was cherry picking. And they bid it up to whatever they want to bid it up. They think it's a fair price.
Yeah.
And they can resell those on eBay. I had one guy Kelly, who bought a whole bunch of real photo postcards from me. I don't know what he paid per postcard, but he sold one of them for like $75, which I'm happy with. I'm glad he found value in what I'm selling, so he can resell it.
All right, cool. Let me say hello to a few people here in the chat. I wanted to say hey to Laura. Laura is here in the chat. I wanted to say hello to Memphis. Blazer is here. CK's
Steve.
Postcards. And we had uh, Memphis Blazer says John's Whatnot sells are very educational. John says, I am looking at postcards on eBay. I can see a problem in that I might become a collector. I see a bunch that I just might want to buy and keep. Do you keep any of them, or do you resell all of them?
I keep very few of them. There is Halloween modern Halloween artists that I do collect. But I get those from his website directly, and I collect from the small town I grew up in and the current town I live in now. I grew up in Pennsylvania in a really, really small town, and hard to find postcards from that town. So I collect those. And where I live now is another small town in Maryland, and there aren't a whole bunch of postcards. So that's it. Other than I have really no emotional attachment
Yeah.
to them.
So now, I need to pick your brain on this. I was watching one of your YouTube videos, and people were asking about, hey, I'm interested in buying because where I'm at, gas is like almost $5 a gallon. I don't know about where you're at in Maryland, but here it's today. It got gas. It was $4.75 a gallon. So if I was to try to go to a flea market or an antique booth and try to cherry pick and hand pick, postcards and buy one for 50 cents and sell it for $10 or $20, but I'm spending, I put $40 in my gas tank and I'm driving around all day, coming home with a handful of items. To me, that's kind of, it's kind of like you're running around in circles. So if someone is looking to buy a big wholesale lot, I think somebody had asked you before previously, how do they know if the wholesale lot has been cherry picked through before or not? And because, you bought a big wholesale lot on eBay. So tell people where they can find these wholesale lots of postcards, what they need to be on the lookout for, and how to know if this particular lot has stuff that's valuable in it or if the stuff is junk. So let's talk about that real quick.
Sure. Bulk postcards, I would go to probably like flea markets. I just was at a flea market last weekend and I bought a shoebox full of postcards. I think I paid 60 or $80. I overpaid actually because I think I was rushing. And the thing with postcards, you know, this is a box of probably 600 or 700, maybe even 800 postcards.
Yeah.
Um, it would take, if you went through each individual postcard, it would take you 45 minutes to an hour probably to just go through and every postcard. So what I do to buy when I buy bulk is I pull out a handful here and there, and I just get a general sense of what's in the box. If there's, if there's stuff like this in there, it might not be cherry picked, but if it's all like these are called continental chromes. They're 4x6 size. They're not as desirable. But if it's a whole bunch of these bigger chromes, maybe foreign chromes, um, that box may have been cherry picked. But if I'm finding stuff in there like this is an artist signed postcard, if I'm seeing stuff like this in the box, chances are it's not been picked through. So for value, what I do is for bulk, a 100 postcards is about an inch. So I can look at a box like a shoe box is 500 or 600 cards. One of these white postcard boxes is 700 cards. So then 700 cards at what, 20 cents a card, was that $140 or something like that? So I just go based on uh, amount that I'm willing to spend on that box. So if you can get a box like that with 800 cards in it for less than $100, I guarantee there's value in there.
Okay.
There might be one real photo in there that can pay for the whole box 4 times over. Or if there's not that real photo, that there's 100 of these are 4, 5, 6, $7 each. Some of these large letter greetings I've sold them for over 150 before. So there's value there.
Yeah.
Even if it's a whole bunch of crap, you could bulk lot that on eBay and get double your money back with no issues.
Okay, now I have a question about shipping. Do you actually upload tracking? Do you ship it out first class? Does it go medium mail, or do you just put it in an envelope and then just put a little just put like a little stamp on it and ship it out? Like, explain how you do about shipping, because if it's like a collectible postcard, do you put like some cardboard in it to make sure it doesn't get bent or damaged in transit? Explain how you ship this item.
Yeah, sure. Well, eBay came out with that eBay standard envelope. It's been a game changer uh, for shipping postcards. Uh, they charge 53 cents for eBay standard envelope, and it includes tracking and it includes insurance. So if that card, if the buyer says, I never got it, or it arrived damaged, I refund their $6 or $7 or whatever. And there's a claim form that I can, through this eBay standard envelope program, I can get my money back. And it's just, I don't think I have any available, but I printed out on a 4x6 through eBay bulk labels. I printed out through there. It's a 4x6 label. It has the tracking number, address, all that stuff on there. And these are 4.5 by 6.5. Just picture a cereal box, that cardboard on a cereal box. We'll sandwich it together, and this is about the thickness of that. These are like 7 cents, and I put a plastic sleeve, plastic sleeve, slide it in there, and then put the eBay standard envelope label on it for 53
Well,
cents. It's
do,
cheaper
do
than a
you
stamp.
but do you ever have an issue with some of these are real pictures? And if you guys don't know, back in the day, they used to have these like little Polaroid type of pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and if they got too hot on the sun, it could melt. So do you
Yeah.
ever have a problem with that sticking or melting or anything
Nope.
like that in transit? You never
Nope.
had a problem?
Never had a
Okay.
problem. And
Okay, cool.
I use the eBay standard envelope. It's up to $20 per card, $20. And if it's
Yeah.
if this sold for 25 or $50 or whatever, I use these top loaders. They're for baseball cards. Well, these are postcard size top loaders. And then eBay has come out with these. They're branded. They're 5x7 size. They're incredibly thick, nice and thick. They won't bend. So with the combination of the top loader and this thick mailer, 350 or whatever it is, whatever first class standard shipping is, I'll use that. But I've sent out, probably 30 to 40,000 postcards over the last, I don't know, 10 years or so. And
Yeah.
I've only had 2 of these get mangled, which I think is pretty incredible. And one time I had one of these, it was cut in half, and the buyer complained that I did something wrong, and I tried replicating. I mean, it was a clean slice, and I sent it in a bubble mailer, and the bubble mailer was pretty much undamaged, but the sleeve inside was completely cut in half. And I sent him a picture. I tried replicating it, and you can't
Yeah.
bend one of these. So there was no way that the mail. So what I figured out is something very heavy fell on the postcard, and split this top loader in half, and the postcard
Yeah.
was perfect straight line. So
Right.
I've only ever had that one damage using the top. These are like gold now, and I just ruined one.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I was just
Oh, no,
asking
no, I
questions
wanted
I
to
didn't
show you
know.
because
So I
it's
wanted to
fun.
say hello real quick to the thrift shop hustler is here.
Oh, thanks,
Postcard
Chris.
guy. Hey, I wanted to give you a big shout out to $9.90 or $10 super chat. He says John has been an amazing inspiration for sure, guys.
Yeah,
This is
Chris.
your chance if you have questions to ask our guest questions. I've been trying to get him on the channel for weeks now, and we've been trying to get our schedules lined up where I could get him on the show to pick his brain and ask him questions.
Well, hey,
Memphis
that's me.
Memphis
I saw.
Blazer says there is almost always value. Just be patient. Always amazes me when John says he listed a postcard 8 years ago
Oh, yeah.
and says forever stamps are going up in July 10th from 58 cents to 60 cents. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's cool. That's awesome that you can ship the item out and you still get tracking. And so that still covers your butt, and to verify that
Yeah.
the customer did get the item, you're able to put it in like a litlittle cardboard
Mhm.
mailer, ship it out, and you don't have a lot of damages. You probably don't have a lot of returns. And since the
Mhm.
item is like a postcard, it's like doesn't weigh anything. It's not heavy. It's not like you said earlier. It's not like a big VCR that you're trying to ship
Right.
out and all that.
Yeah.
So your item is very small. It doesn't take up a lot of space.
Nope.
It's easy to ship. Now, I got to kind of put you on the spot a little bit.
Sure.
What would be your top 3 tips or piece of advice to help somebody in the resale business?
Wow. Top 3. List, and list. That's 4. But yeah, you gotta list. You gotta get don't, I guess, source appropriately. And For me, I like to stay in a niche. Um, I I do well, I quit that. I used to go to Goodwill probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I used to buy stuff at Goodwill, and I just came to realize I hate packing. I hate packing bubble wrap, fragile stuff like that. So list list consistently. If you can niche, stay in a niche and know your niche. Um, and I guess source appropriately. Don't overpay for stuff. I just Yeah, I think that's about it. But listing is got to be the biggest thing. And I know on my store, since I'm just letting it coast for the last 2+ months, yeah, I was doing $250 to $300 a day, and now I'm barely squeaking out $100 on eBay. And again, I'm not listing, and you got
Well,
to list.
you got to understand, man. At $300 a day, that's like 100 grand a year. But
Mhm.
you have 29, almost 30,000 items on that eBay store, and you have two eBay stores. So tell me, what's the strategy behind having a second eBay store open? I'm not,
No,
I'm
no,
just trying
no.
to pick your brain.
That was my second eBay store is just for the airplane postcards. I wanted to keep it, and it's just strictly for profit loss tracking how I'm doing. That's the only reason I have a second store is I just wanted. It's a million postcards, and my strategy over there with just like this stack of all the same those boxes behind me, one box may have 400 of the same airplane postcard, and I have it listed once, and that thing will be listed for 10, 15 years, or hopefully if my daughter takes over my eBay business in 10, 15 years, she'll never have to relist that postcard. So
Well,
that was the reason for that second store, is just to keep the airplane postcards separate from my regular
yeah.
store.
So yeah, definitely. I like your strategy into being able to list the item one time and have a
Yep.
multiple of the same SKU, the same model number, and then you just sit back and let that item sell over and over and over again. Because there's no difference. If I list 15 different SKUs or whatever, and you listed one SKU, put quantity in of 15, and it was both of them were $10 items, it's the same amount of money
Mhm.
that you're posting in your store. So you might as well go ahead and do that. So before we let you go, you got to tell us your story about how you bought a million postcards, because we talked about it briefly, but I want people to
Yeah.
hear your story, because there's hobby resellers and then there's professional resellers. And for you to go out and kind of reach in your pocket and say, hey, I'm going to go buy a million postcards and I'm going to go put my money where my mouth is and spend. I think you spent $10,000 on this
Yep.
inventory. So tell people the story about how you bought a million postcards.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I already had a 500,000 in my house, so I figured, what the hell, what's another million, right? But no,
Yeah, I'm sure your wife thought that too. Like, what's another million postcards, right?
well, I talked to her. We already can't park in our garage. There's just
Okay.
so much stuff out there. So I knew I had storage for it. Um, but I talked it through with her, and she always lets me do my business. But I use her as a sounding board. I'm like, it's $10,000, and that's just for the postcards, and it's going to be several more thousand to actually go and bring them back and rent a truck and all that stuff, hire a crew to move them. Um, so I'm thinking at 15,000, it's a penny and a half a card. They don't go bad. So someone had emailed me and said, "Hey, did you see this listing on eBay?" And I hadn't, and I looked because I'm always buying. I don't care if I have 1.5 million now. If someone offered me 200,000 cards tomorrow for a good price, I would probably buy them. So I'm always buying postcards. But yeah, I saw it on eBay. I and I just bought them. I talked to my wife. I was like, it's. I have to rent a truck. I have to go to Minneapolis to get these and bring them back. It's going to be a lot of postcards. I said, but I could see this over the lifetime of me selling this. It's millions and millions of dollars worth of inventory that won't go bad. That once I get my money out of them and I'm sick of them, I could sell them to someone else, and then they have millions and millions of dollars. So it was it's a no lose, or I guess a win-win proposition. So I bought them off of eBay, and I immediately sent the person an email, say, hey, I'm getting ready to buy these, or I just bought them. Got to make sure everything goes through. I'll contact you with arrangements. So the buyer and I, or sorry, the seller and I communicated and found out that this was his grandfather's collection, and grandfather willed them down to the kid, and that's his inheritance, and he needed the money. I mean, he could have easily sold these on eBay himself and made millions of dollars over the years. So I made arrangements. I flew out to Minneapolis, and the funny thing is, I had a car service take me to the airport to fly out, and I booked the car service to drop me off at the wrong airport. And
Yeah, I saw that. Go ahead.
that made the heart go pitter patter, because I like to have everything planned out step by step by step, and I messed it up myself because a million things could have gone wrong, and here I'm the one who messed it up but it all worked out. I drove back from Minneapolis in a big U-Haul or Hertz truck. And I just started listing. As soon as I got home, I unpacked the truck and I started listing within a day. And then Whatnot came along, and I stopped listing these million postcards. But I have them; they're here,
Yeah.
and they won't go bad. And
Yeah,
uh,
guys. Well, if you listen to what he said earlier, guys, John said that if his average sell price is $10, and he bought a million of them, and his buy cost was 2 cents each. Okay, so he invested 10 grand, and if hypothetically, eventually, if all of them sell, if your average sell price is only $10 a piece, and you have a million of them, then in theory, you should be able to turn your initial $10,000 investment plus paying for shipping and freight and all that, it should turn into like $10 million worth of inventory. Now, it's a long time if you were going to sit here by hand
yep.
and take pictures front and back and list each one of them individually. But to me, I can definitely understand. It's one of those things where it's like someone makes a play to buy, a real estate or a rental property or
Mm-hmm.
something. You're looking at this as almost like your nest egg for
Yep.
retirement. So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you what some of your plans you have for the future, because you don't sound like you're ready to retire and sit back anytime soon. You feel
Yeah.
like, you're a person like me where you don't want to just be sitting idle. You want to be doing something. So
Yep.
tell people, what is like some of your plans you have over the next 3, 4, 5 years with you and your resale business?
Sure. Yeah, I won't be doing this forever. What am I, 53 or so, something like that. So there will be a time that I will. No, I won't. I like to say that I will probably be doing something until the day I die. I'll probably die under an avalanche of postcards next week, but I will be doing something with postcards until I die. And a lot of the postcard dealers at these shows, they're into their 80s and they're selling postcards. Um, but over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, I have enough inventory that I'll be doing. I can do 2 auctions a week on Whatnot for the next 3 or 4 years. So that's going to be my main focus
Yeah.
over the next years. And I will be getting these airplane cards listed eventually. Like over the summer, my daughter, high school, I'm going to put her to work. I will probably be doing the Whatnot auctions, and I will
Yeah.
probably have her listing either regular postcards or airline postcards. But I want to keep building the eBay business up. My goal at one time was to have 50 or 60,000 listings on eBay, and I may get there. But right now,
Yeah.
I have to sell some of this back stock. Probably a good three or four
I would
hundred thousand.
we all have death powers. Some people's death
Yeah,
powers are bigger than others. But yeah,
and,
for sure. Like my
yeah,
goal this summer is to get to 10,000 items. And I have the same mindset where I would like to get to 20, 30, 50,000 items. And you don't have any employees, right? You do it all by yourself.
I'm a
Does your
one
wife
man
help
band.
you or any, or do you do it all by yourself?
All me, everything,
Okay, cool.
100% me.
We
Yeah.
Well, I just want people to know that if you guys are willing to hustle and put the work in, you can do this. We got some questions here from the chat. Memphis Blazer says, question, what is the max quantity of the same item that you list? For example, if you have 50 of the same, can you put quantity of 50 or lower?
I'm not sure how high it will go. I think there are some the first listings of airplane cards I did. I think I did a quantity of 25, and I think if you have too high of a quantity, people are like, and you're asking $4 each. That's a little excessive. So I will usually back that down to 5 or 10, but I may have 400 behind it. So when I do
Yeah.
sell, sell out, then I just relist another 5. But yeah, I guess you could hide that. I think there
You
is a way
could,
to
but
hide
you
that.
can put it up there a pretty high number. I have this one DVD that I paid like a quarter a piece for, and I'm selling it on eBay for $20, and I have 500 of the same SKU. And so I probably sell maybe 2, 3 copies of it a week. And you figure, let's say $20 doesn't sound like a lot, but if you multiply that by 500, now you're making, 10 grand or whatever on this
Right.
one listing that took 2 minutes out of your day to take a picture front and back and post it one time. And
Yeah.
that same item sells over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
to me, I'm like, man, that's the way to go if you can post an item and have a multi quantity of that same item.
Right. And
Um,
the great thing about postcards is I have a duplex scanner where I take a stack of 15 or 20 postcards, stick it in the top of the scanner, and it just sucks them in, and it takes the photo of the front and the back, and
yeah,
that takes 10 seconds. I used to take pictures of front and back, and that 100 or 200 postcards would take me an hour to do. Those same
yeah.
200 postcards scanning 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, cool. We had a question here in the chat from Bluegrass Thrift says, you mentioned that a family member reached out to you. What happened with that?
Yeah, I think it was the daughter. So we got the grandfather, her daughter, and then her son was who I bought the postcards from. If this is what I'm if what she's mentioning is she actually bought back one of it was a photo, it was an 8x10 photo of the plane that her father, the collector, flew. And so she bought it back from me. I think I had it listed for $30. And so I paid a penny for it, and she bought it back from me. And I told her, I was like, I refunded her money and I sent it back. I was like, you don't have to pay to get your memories back. So I sent that picture back to her for free. And I have another one that I need to reach out to her. I think it's her father standing out. It's an 8x10 photo, and I believe it's her father standing in front of the plane he flew. So I need to send that to her. It's like, is this your father? I will send this one back to you. So if that could be he's mentioning, but I think the guy's brother contacted me too and said he didn't like want it back or anything. He just congratulated me on pretty much getting him out of the family's house.
Okay, cool. Now, before we let you go, tell people again where they can find postcards. Where's the best place to go and source and find postcards at? And to me, in my mind, I feel like buying the stuff in bulk is going to be the way to go because your average buy cost is much less. Instead of you saying I'm going to pay 80 cents or $1 for a postcard, if you're getting them for a nickel a piece, it's a no brainer. So, talk a little bit more about where they can find the postcards. How do they know about where to source them? How do they know about what to price them at? You just because like if I have a media item, I could scan the barcode
Right.
and then look and see that this item is sold. 20 of them had sold for $20. How do they know about what to list them at, and then the shipping? So let's talk briefly about that.
Yeah, sure. Well, first, you can buy them anywhere. Go to an antique mall. I guarantee almost any antique mall is going to have postcards. And then if you find them for $1 and you buy them for $1, I research almost every postcard I put on eBay, and that's through eBay sold listings, or I have the Worth Point. Worth Point is great for postcards, and so I just research: has this particular postcard sold before, or are there 400 of this same postcard currently listed on eBay? If there's 400 currently listed on eBay, excuse me, and they're $3, I may not list that. But if there aren't any, what I usually do is I try to find the best comp that I can, like I said, through Worth Point or eBay solds, or just based on my knowledge what similar postcards have sold for in the past. And I may start at an auction at $49.99, and it may not sell at $49. It may sell 20 years from now. I reduce it down to $5. I don't know. So for pricing, you just got to comp and do research. And I forgot the other part of your question there.
Yeah, I had a question as far as finding the merchandise. How do you know what to price them for? And then the shipping. We talked about that earlier.
Yep.
You just said that it's like 50 cents or something. You put, you ship it out. It has a tracking number, so it's pretty easy to ship, pretty easy to list. It doesn't take up a lot of space.
Yep.
So all that, it sounds pretty easy to do as far as listing and shipping goes. I had a real quick question. Do
Sure.
you charge shipping, or do you offer free shipping on your eBay store?
Free shipping. If I list a card for more than $20, I will have the buyer pay the 350 for shipping. Unless, if they buy $100 worth of postcards, yeah, I'll ship that for free. Combined shipping, I can ship, I don't know, probably 20 or 30 postcards for $4 or $5 in one of those. But normally just, a $4 or $5 postcard, I'm the one free shipping, so I'm the one eating the 53 cents for shipping. It's
Okay,
cheaper. Yeah.
do postcards qualify to be shipped under media mail or
No,
not?
nope, you
They
can't
don't.
do.
Okay, I was just wondering. Okay, cool. So I appreciate you jumping on and hanging out with me today. We
Yeah,
had a good time hanging out, chatting,
yeah.
talking all about reselling and postcards and all this stuff. Tell everybody where they can follow you at on YouTube and Instagram. I'll have all your links down below. We'll let them
Okay.
know where they can follow you and check you out.
Sure, yeah. YouTube, Popeyes Postcards. I just restarted my channel. I had a channel probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I nuked it after a little issue with someone poaching from me, taking for free, and I was in a bad place at the time. I just said, "F it, I'm done with YouTube," and I came back. I was gone for about a year and a half or so, and I just came back 6 months ago, and so yeah. Popeyes Postcards YouTube, Popeyes Postcards on Instagram, and Popeyes Postcards on Whatnot. And on Whatnot, I'm doing a show tomorrow at noon on Whatnot. So come on, check if you want to come check me out and see what I'm selling and learn a little bit more about them. But probably best YouTube. I try to do a what sold video every day and drop a little knowledge and tell people where postcard shows are happening and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But that's where you can find me.
Okay, cool. Do you have any words of wisdom that you can leave our audience with as far as reselling goes?
List. Got a list. That's the biggest after 24 years selling on eBay. You have to list. You have to list regularly. Don't do what I do and just let your store coast, but you just got to actively listing. And like I said, I guess technically I am listing. I'm just doing it on another channel that has just been. I did 3 months of eBay sales in a month on Whatnot, so
Yeah.
I've just kind of shifted my listing focus. So technically I'm listing, but yeah, if eBay is where you're going to be listing, just every day list something and just keep
Yeah.
that going. And
Yeah.
you'll eventually get up to 29-30,000 items too.
Yeah, I was going to say my biggest thing is just, guys, you have to take your capital and reinvest it back in your business. I don't know,
Yeah.
sometimes, especially right now this summer, it's tempting to take the money out and go on a vacation somewhere to the Smoky Mountains or whatever. But if you take your capital, like I told you earlier, I'm getting ready to do a deal next week. I'm going to turn $300 into $4,000. You can't do that working a job somewhere. So if you know you have a deal locked up, be ready to take your capital and spend it. John here just spent 10 grand to buy 1,000,000 items. So don't be afraid or scared. You have to invest back into yourself and invest back in your business. So don't be scared to reinvest money back in your business. So you guys go ahead and follow our guests. All the links are going to be down below. You can follow them on YouTube and Instagram under Popeyes Postcards. I appreciate you jumping on and taking time out of your day to hang out with us. I've been trying to meet up with you for a couple of weeks and pick your brain. So
That's
I
my
appreciate you.
fault.
It's cool. I
don't-
appreciate
yeah,
you jumping on to hang out with me today. I will see you guys on Monday. I have a returning guest. I have that reseller guy will be on Monday, and he will tell you guys how he makes $2,000 a month selling from his antique booth. So I will see you guys on Monday afternoon. You guys can come by and pick his brain and learn about his antique booth, ask him questions as far as reselling goes. And you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday. Go ahead and follow our guests. All the links are going to be down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
So yeah, nice to meet you.